All right, a few things that I want to uncover. One being Jerry Jones' conversation, about Amari Cooper. That's one thing we got to go over. And the other thing that we must uncover, the truth. The truth. We got to. And Charles Haley said it best. Come on now. You can't have a running game when you ain't got offensive linemen to block for you. And they knew that going into this game. If they didn't know, the left guard and the center sucks. And basically, I'm paraphrasing here, but basically, Charles Haley, he ain't holding back no punches, which I get it. We knew that the running game was just always horrible as far as the 2021 season. Now, scheme plays a major role into it, right? And we know that this offense, my goodness, vertical type of offense, and we look back at what Kurt Warner broke down Dak Prescott, you can say to yourself, man, terrible reads, right? Didn't go through his progressions good enough. Miss open targets as relates to the scheme or the system that we try to run. And the offensive line. Really no rhythm to this offense at all. And we know all year long, the center and the guard suck. Now, Zach Martin can only do what Zach Martin can do on his side, right? And we see Dak Prescott had less pressure on that particular situation on that side of the field. But the problem when you look at it and you dissect everything, you'll say, man, yeah, that's an issue as it relates to this front five. But La'el Collins, he's not playing up to par. We knew that all year long, the center just wasn't strong enough to hold the point of contact. And let's be real about Connor Williams. We've been talking about the same thing for many of years with Connor Williams. All this team had to do was pretty much roll with when they was doing good. Keep Terrence Steele at right tackle. Of course, Zach Martin is comfortable with Terrence Steele at the right of him. Hey, we knew Tyler Biadasz is just Tyler Biadasz, but you could have inserted La'el Collins at guard. And Tyron Smith is just Tyron Smith, long in the tooth, and he just give up on speed rushers, But I'm looking at it like this. From a practical reasoning, the reason why you saw some weird plays from Zach Martin, because he's trying to help out Tyler Biadasz. And some of the issues with Tyron Smith is because he's trying to help out Connor Williams. And that's just the reality of it, right? So we take all of those issues and we push it to the side. Let's talk about the running game. It was like those chips that's left inside the car, the bag halfway open for many of days. Stale. Good bag of Doritos, what have you, but they've been left open. The PCL tear of Ezekiel Elliott, whether it be a mental situation from the coordinators that's calling and drawing up plays, or lack of explosions from Ezekiel Elliott. But let's be real, even a hobbled Ezekiel Elliott, you could have still tossed right or tossed left, attacked the edge. Oh, newsflash, put Tony Pollard in. But the Cowboys refused to do all of those things, right? And they didn't have any creative design. And you saw Dak Prescott just never was in rhythm. And he had to change a lot to play in this particular system as it relates to we're going to throw the ball north of 35 times or what have you. And granted, I want Dak Prescott to be right at 25 to 30 attempts in a game. And 25 is that sweet spot, right? And it trickles down to now the shame, now the guilt the buyer's remorse from Jerry Jones on Amari Cooper, right? Because he's not getting the attempts, or he's not getting the production that you're looking for, right? So he calls him out in his final presser for the season, where we know Jerry, he's going to continue to talk down the line. Calls him out, right? And say, well, these are the reasons why I'm not happy with him. And we know that this thing can go on and on and on when your billionaire owner is talking about somebody on the team in a negative connotation, right? We all know that this is not going to end well for Amari Cooper. It's not. So if he's ready to kick the can on Amari Cooper, buyer's remorse, looking at it like, hey, we're paying this man this much money and he can't beat this and he can't do that, then you got to go back to the reason why. Oh, the coordinator, right? And he said, Jerry Jones, he should take half of the field with him, right? He talking about Amari Cooper. Well, if you run verts, comeback routes on quarters, you're not taking half of the field. You're not. Those guys are going to drop back into their zone responsibilities, and they're going to sit on those routes. There's no taking up the top of the defense, right? And any play that you do that's going to a threat beyond what the quarters are trying to do, those are long developing plays. Yes, you can have one-on-one to the outside, but you got to understand you still got the safety over the top. They can creep that way. You can have your verts and your stems inside. And Kurt Warner did a wonderful job of breaking all of that down. But at the end of the day, Kurt Warner didn't say this: run the ball. He broke it down from a quarterback perspective of attacking the field, right? Which I get it. Hall of Famer Kurt Warner, right? There's not a lot of room to go back and forth with that. But at the end of the day, you run the ball on that. You got to figure out a way to run the rock. Now, the Cowboys, heading into this particular draft season, which is good because we all undefeated in the draft season, right? They're going to have some major decisions to go through. One being, think about what my guy, Charles Haley, said. You know that center and that guard suck. He just called it right out. Do you lean on the fact that you're looking for an offensive lineman? Do you take care of that business like via free agency? Right? Or do you look at it and say, all right, if the owner is already talking about the wide receiver, Amari Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb, he have not been a real difference maker in this particular system. Do you look at another wide receiver? That would be crazy, right? Do you look at offensive linemen? Do you go with best player available and say 2 tiers in the bucket? If Nakobe Dean is right there, do you snatch him up and say, hey, can you imagine Parsons and Nakobe Dean? Whew. That's why I love the offseason. It's so long, and you can make those corrections. But now, Cowboy Nation, you got a lot of things to fill in. So it goes to show you, the season never ends. It never. Although we out of the plan of football, now it's the strategies time. So, in closing, Cowboys must fix these things. Offensive line, number 1. Number 2, running the rock, whether it be philosophy. You got Tony Pollard out there. And this season right here is the evaluation season for Tony Pollard, because now his contract he's playing for contracts now, right? And you got to know what you're going to get out of him, right? Right? And, of course, the offense in general. Do you keep Kellen Moore as your offensive coordinator? Do you turn and burn your offensive line coach? You know what I'm saying? Do you hold the feet to the fire of Mike McCarthy? Or before the season can kick off for the 2022 season, you just rip open everything. You just tear down everything. You get rid of Mike McCarthy, you get rid of Kellen Moore, and you go out there and get a different coach and insert their philosophy, because I know for sure Dan Quinn may be gone, right? He's gone. The defensive coordinators and all of those guys, and when the defensive coordinator goes and he goes to a job like a head coaching positioning, he's going to reach out to his other guys, that's on this team. He may reach out to Al Harris. He may reach out to Joe Witt Jr., right? All of those things plays a role, right? Come on over here, man. I'm the head coach now. So it's a lot of stuff to get into. It is. And that's why we like the offseason, because there's no win-loss record. But what you do in the offseason will predicate what you do in the regular season and playoff and beyond, right? So post me your thoughts, post me your concerns down below. Jori, you got a lot of work to do. You do. And if you upset at anybody, be upset at yourself. Remember, you control the narrative. You do. DC for life. Salute. Oh, and Dak Prescott, hey, my boy, you had to step it up, man, because everyone have a reason, but results are what matter, right? Right.